when you're on a basketball court, you get to kind of like lose yourself, And when you're on a basketball court, you don't see no colors. Whoever on your team, that's your brother.
2K Foundations was 2K's opportunity to really think about how we can give back, and we want to give back what basketball has given to us. This is an opportunity for us to do that.
A basketball court is made up of simple parts: a hoop, a center circle, a three-point line, boxes, boundaries. It's easy to see what these parts mean to the game, but what the court itself means to the players, to a community, or to a kid, that's not as easy to see at first glance. But it's the most powerful part of any court.
In the beginning, it was just a place, but then it became more than that. It became the place where I can talk to my mentors, where I can find people to rely on.
If the kids have a safe haven to go to, a place to go to, then it changes the narrative.
So the children need an outlet. Sports bring them that outlet. Basketball is one of the things that they enjoy the most. So to be able to provide that for them, it's like a safe haven.
The other thing about basketball is it's the most popular recreational activity across all ages, all genders.
Neighborhood A may be feuding with neighborhood B. We bring something that's mutual ground to them, such as basketball. We'd be able to, to connect, bridge, instead of building barriers in between each other, whatnot.
A lot of times basketball is a way out of a bad situation.
All our kids that walk in our building have a spark. And there is one there, and it is burning in every single kid. You'd be amazed at the transformation that happens. It's almost finding yourself. The world opens up.
Local courts across America and around the world are falling apart. When gyms and community centers get their funding cut, basketball courts are among the first things to go. Kids and communities have nowhere to gather, to connect, or to stay safe.
It's a tough neighborhood, especially if you want to be an athlete. It's tough. You got to keep your head on straight. You got to humble yourself.
Out here, every day's a fight. You might got to fight just walking to the gym.
There's spaces in neighborhoods in all cities that are intentionally neglected.
We was a forgotten city. At that time, we didn't have no programs. And the gym was locked down.
So the kids really rely on coming here for a safe environment. These walls allow the kids to be themselves.
The average age of a person here is 21, and the largest age group is 10 or younger. So that means that kids are raising kids out here. Over 50% drop out of school, and only 2.9% even make it to college. Most individuals, their whole outlook on life is based on a 2-mile circumference.
95% of this community are just hard-working people. They're honest, they make an honest living, they have dreams like anyone else. 15 years we've been here, we've never had an incident in this building. The thing is that in many ways, what you have are people who are just struggling economically. That doesn't make you dishonest. That doesn't make you violent.
What these courts mean to the community and kids growing up in the area goes beyond basketball, beyond a game. Giving people a safe place to play, to gather, meet friends and mentors, to dream means restoring these local courts. And restoring courts restores community. So, 2K decided to get involved.
When 2K first came to me, I had no idea who 2K was. To the kids, it was like, this thinker, do you really mean 2K? 2K, you mean 2K is coming here to our little corner?
2K Foundations was formed. Born from the desire to give back, 2K Foundations elevates communities across the globe through community center renovations, STEM education, mentorship access, and sports programming to motivate the next generation by providing them with resources to excel in their community and the classroom. The first step was rejuvenating basketball courts and community centers in 12 cities, providing bold, colorful new courts that the community could not just play on, but own.
2K Foundations is basically an initiative that 2K goes out and finds basketball courts that are a little run down and maybe they were once used a lot at one point in time, but now we go and find these courts and we refurbish them, bring them back to life.
Basketball is so important to us as a brand. I mean, we wouldn't be anything without basketball. And so to give back to the game that kind of made us what we are today is so important.
I really feel like they invest in the communities. They just don't paint the basketball court and leave. After they're done, they try to make sure they set up tournaments. They try to make sure that the kids are getting free Wi-Fi around the basketball courts. They really try to invest in the whole community.
If you were to actually price it, put some kind of cost to it, you would never be able to do it. Because you cannot put a price to the amount of lives that are going to be positively affected.
The course before was trash. We haven't had a scoreboard since the city took it from us.
The backboards were old, the rims were bent, the nets were dirty, you had divots in the court, and it's just not a great place and space for folks to play and to hone their basketball skills. So we are greatly appreciative of 2K Foundation and coming in and providing an opportunity for our young people.
When I spoke to the city, they told me they had this huge community center renovation, but they didn't have any funds to redo the outdoor basketball courts, which were in such bad condition. The asphalt had to actually be completely removed and replaced. We thought it made sense to get in here and make a colorful basketball court to go with it.
The latest city chosen by 2K Foundations is Knoxville, Tennessee, thanks to a partnership with WNBA player Candace Parker.
Well, the city of Knoxville has just given me so much. I was welcomed with open arms as soon as I got there. I just feel like they hold a special part in my development as a person, as a basketball player. And so, when given the opportunity, I definitely wanted to give back myself.
Actually, this is named after Cal Johnson, who was born a slave, became a free man, and was the first black millionaire in the history of Knoxville. And
to have a court in that area that's in a park that is very historic. I think the African American community in Knoxville has always, supported me. I just feel like it matters where the court is and the name that's around the park.
So it was great to be able to partner with 2K Foundations to share the history so that it could be incorporated into the design work, and they did.
This court will basically incorporate things of Candace Parker, but also the rich history of Nikki Giovanni and Cal Johnson.
With every project, 2K Foundations seeks out local artists with strong ties to the community to bring these courts to life.
Every project I work on, I try to include a local artist in the design process. This is an opportunity for them to translate what they're doing on a canvas, for example, into a public space that people are going to get to use and enjoy and love.
Candace was hoping to find a local female artist, and I graduated from the University of Tennessee, actually went to school at the same time as Candace, watched her play. 2K Foundations connected me with Candace. The rest was history. We took Candace's vision, and then I also met with community members and leaders at the Beck Cultural Exchange Center, and I combined those two worlds into one piece of art.
So we'll be able to tell the stories and to talk about Candace's project and how history is embedded in this, as well as across the street, down the street, and throughout this whole downtown area. So this is an important piece to a greater puzzle that we're putting together.
These projects that 2K supports is about revitalizing communities and re-engaging communities around basketball and around community building. So I've been super excited about it. It's a generous contribution to the city of Knoxville, and it's going to pay off big dividends in the investments in our people.
I know that this is a court, and it's to some degree temporal, but I'm thinking about legacy in the sense of our impact in the community.
My whole childhood was arts and sports. I always tell people that those are the two things that bring people together.
The artists that work in the gym, they did amazing work. They took time out of their schedules before creating the art piece just to share that time with us to really dig in and see what this club is all about.
We went over questions like, how do these kids feel about their neighborhood? How do they feel about Rainbow Rec? Getting some ideas from the kids that actually use these facilities on what we should put on this court.
The design is it's a very direct message because it is a very mountainous area. It's kind of a no-brainer to use vegetation and to kind of juxtapose that with maybe possibly a color that's been used on houses that you see.
There was an inspiration to mimic an African pattern in an African quilt. These quilts and patterns are passed down from generations to generations. And that was my hope with this same kind of pattern, that this image and this design could be passed down to future generations.
The wings represent flight. It represents that there are no limits and that you can go as far as your desire and your drive takes you.
So, I mean, the real heart of the mission is about communities gathering together outdoors. The park is the center of the communities, and in a lot of ways the basketball court is the heart of that park. We started working with artists because we found that by creating something unique, you're actually more likely to bring people back out to the park basketball courts. They become busier, they also become, safer and cleaner, and it seems like they're more inviting to families and young women. So, the art plays an important role. The mission is not the art itself. We're trying to make places people want to spend time together outdoors.
Yesterday, Johnson Gonzalez, a local organizer here in Puerto Rico, he had kids painting the lines, of the out-of-bounds lines, the foul lines, 12, 15-year-old kids. Like, they now feel ownership on this court, and it could develop a sense of pride, and it's also developing independence. I made this court. I didn't just sit back. I helped clean the sidewalk to this court.
I feel like I'm making my mark on something positive here in this community.
Individual effort in our world today makes a whole lot of difference. A lot of folks like to work in groups, but if one person comes out and does something, and every one person does it, it makes a difference.
One thing that was really important to me in designing this piece of artwork for the community was to not only give them a piece that they're proud of and that they feel like is their own, but I also wanted the community to feel like they were involved in this process. So we had so many incredible volunteers. I hope that they feel like this is theirs and they have ownership in this and they can be proud of that.
And as proud as I am as a native of Knoxville to have this right here in our neighborhood, in our community, I know that our children will be proud too. This is theirs and it's in their community.
After a few days of painting, it's finally ready.
I'm beyond excited. I've seen the gym and it's amazing. Like, coming here my first day to play basketball, I never thought the gym would look how it looks now.
First thing I did was shed a tear. And then I was excited because I can't wait to get on this court. I don't even know what to say because I just can't wait to play.
I just can't wait to hear shoes squeaking on the floor again. I can't wait to hear the ball bouncing off the backboard.
The kids, they see the logos on the court now and they have lost it. Like they are like, oh, I'm about to play on this court. I can't lose on this court. Like, it means something because they're already familiar with NBA2K. So now it's more about their dreams now.
It looks phenomenal, man. I think it definitely speaks to our culture. It definitely speaks to our branch. It definitely speaks to who we are and what we represent at the McQuarrie YMCA.
So now we have this great court that's been given to us by 2K Foundation. They're so proudful of how it looks and what's going to be happening. And I just heard one of them saying, just think it all happened here at Good Now.
That's gonna be the hottest court in the city now, and it belongs to the West End community. We're gonna get to hype that, and so that's gonna be fun as far as neighborhood swag.
Once the courts are down and it becomes a space that's really the community's own, you see more people coming out from that community to the park. You see people coming from surrounding communities to come visit the park.
When I first came here, I had no friends, but then I met this group of boys and they introduced me to a lot of new things, and basketball was one of them. And then I actually found my love for basketball playing with them.
Since 2018, 2K Foundations surpassed the original 12-city plan to include restored courts and gyms in over 20 cities around the world.
Maybe an 11-year-old sees what we're doing today and it becomes aspirational. Wow, in 10 years, I want to work on my game so that I can play in the tournament. Or wow, I want to work on my game so I can just be competitive here. Or wow, I want to work on my art so maybe in 10 years, I can paint the court.
2K building the court only starts the conversation. So we're able to not only have a court where the kids can play and everything, but we're able to now have basketball clinics, coaching clinics. So what it's really doing under the surface is also bridging the gap between races. There's a lot of tension between Hispanics and Blacks in this community, and having a court where kids of all color, of all ages and sexes can come in and play basketball is everything.
You know, the other thing that I really enjoyed partnering with 2K on is when they were talking to me about the basketball court, they weren't just talking about the basketball court, they were talking about the community center, they were talking about what else can we bring to a collaborative partnership that's going to enhance this community.
This isn't a, let's just stamp it and leave it and never come back here. Again, this is more important than just fixing a basketball court. It's about being involved in these communities and staying connected to the people that love basketball.
You guys are here weekly. You have made family. You have become friends. You are here. Look, you painted with us. And you made sure the community was with you. We built it together. And that's how you build a relationship. Not just send a check. Be here beside us.
It's not about a sports program to me. I'm trying to save lives here. This is more than just some game. This is more than just, some fun recreational activity. I see this as a place that's saving lives.
When I tell you this is all they have, this is literally all they have. There's no areas for the kids to play. There's nowhere for the community to have local meetings. They don't have that epicenter here. So when I tell you that it's gone beyond just painting a basketball court, it really has gone beyond that.
Bringing other organizations here, other funders, and showing them, hey, these big bosses, they care about you too.
It feels good because I know that there's more people in the world that care about me, like how my parents do. People can help me and then want to see me success and not want to see me fail.
2K Foundations also partners with professional players in the NBA to bring even more support to the local communities. Finally, the NBA2K fans get to meet their heroes face to face and hear how their journeys weren't that different.
That's what you want to do. You want to give back to the place that did so much for you. And I talked to Anthony about that, and he was just so happy. You could see the joy on his face. So obviously getting to work with him on this was really great as well.
It's something that's going to be here for a long time, and they can continue to use and have fun for as long as they want to come here.
It's crazy, but when LeBron opened the school, it didn't have a basketball court. And 2K, our special partner, recognized that and came in right away and said, we want to help you make this happen.
First of all, thank you 2K Foundation. Means a lot. For our kids here, being as underprivileged as we are here, anytime we're able to get anyone to come into our city, and you guys gave us a court. It's unbelievable. It's a dream come true for not only myself, but for my kids. This is a basketball court and we see basketball hoops, but it teaches you so much more than just basketball. To be able to create a brotherhood or a sisterhood, to be able to create things that will last forever.
Already, 2K is planning new court refurbishes for 2021, with the first exciting new courts coming to New Orleans and Oakland.
You see how he's smiling? But before y'all came, he'd been grieving. So the other day he finally cried, and I made him push the wall. And I just say, keep pushing the wall. Not only that, 2K have him here, and it showed him, you somebody. Say I, you somebody. Because if you can't say it, then you're going out there to find it in the streets. This is home. He got somewhere to go. So that's more than just sending a donation. And we thank you for it.
The first time I ever interacted with a community member or community members with adults who are not my teachers, not my coaches, not my parents, not otherwise responsible for my health and safety, it was on a basketball court. And so I think in a lot of ways for me, it's where I learned to become a community member, you know, interact with strangers and kind of build these relationships with people.
It gives kids, you know, a safe haven. You know, if you have a safe haven, you know, as a kid, you know, you don't got to be in fight mode or defense mode all the time. You know, you can let your brain wander. You know, and having the Salvation Army, having their activities, having their basketball, right? Having a court. So, I mean, it gives people hope, give kids hope.